Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. This is a special edition, and I'm so glad that you guys have tuned in on this Saturday. And I couldn't wait until next week when the show kicked back off because this particular special guest is a young lady that is working in a very busy emergency room department and wanted to get her on while she was off work to be able to come and talk with you guys. So today I have with me, we're going to call her, for the sake of this broadcast, our Frontline Angel. And so thank you so much, Frontline Angel, for joining us today, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And you may see that she's covered and excessively, and that's on purpose. And the reason for that, and it's not, believe it or not, it's not even any level of joking associated with it. What it is that people right now that are working as frontline workers are sometimes being threatened. Some people are sometimes also being ridiculed for saying things on behalf of various institutions. And so we just want to be very mindful and considerate of her place of employment. And so that's why we are not formally calling her by name. It's just as if there was anybody in a witness protection program or something, I would honor that and make sure that we kept their identity safe as well. So again, we're going to have as much fun as we can on this broadcast and as much information as we can and keep it as lighthearted as we can as well, but knowing the seriousness of today's broadcast. I first like to just open with a brief word of prayer. And again, on the Kim Jacobs Show, we can do that. We can, and Frontline Angel and I actually prayed before we came on so that we could make sure that you all know that we're covered in prayer as we present this information to you guys. So, Lord, I first of all want to thank you for those that are working on the front line, those that have sacrificed their own lives. They've sacrificed their families in different regards. Lord, I'm just asking that you pour out a supernatural blessing over each and every one of their lives, Lord. This frontline angel, I'm asking that you just allow her and her family to be blessed beyond imagination, that she would be willing to sacrifice and come on and share her story and help other people to understand what the severity is of COVID-19 and how people are going through. Lord, I'm asking that you just protect each and every one of these individuals. I'm asking that you just keep them safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. And Lord, I am asking you to let them want for nothing. Let these individuals want for nothing in life. Lord, let them just have the windows of heaven open up and you pour out blessings that these people have no room to receive because they have been selfless in a time of tragedy, in a time of uncertainty, Lord. Bless them, bless them, bless them, bless them. Bless my frontline angel. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. Frontline Angel, the way this works is people that are in my studio audience will come on. They will share comments as well. And so like right now, I'll pop up a comment. Mr. Shelton Brown, who's in my studio audience, he said, hey, greetings, Kim, and God bless you. God bless you, Shelton Brown. And he actually deals with a lot of other shows. And so he helps host and produce other shows. So your story may go to other networks as well, because I didn't even know he was on. So welcome, Shelton Brown. And also we have in the studio audience, Miss Wandra Audrey. She says, watching and good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Miss Wandra Audrey. We have Katrina Womack, and she's clapping and showing love and sending hearts. Thank you so much, Katrina Womack, for joining today's broadcast. And many other people will comment throughout the time that we're on. But I want to get right into this today. I'm sure that I speak on behalf of everyone, that we're all praying for your safety and that we're praying to make sure that God blesses you all for your selfless acts. But I want to know, what is it like working as a nurse now versus prior? You're working as a nurse now during COVID-19 versus prior to the whole coronavirus outbreak.
Oh, yeah. Well, working now is before you would just show up to work and you just start, working, you start your shift. Now it probably takes about 30 minutes just to get in there,
Hmm.
to prepare yourself, because now we're in full PPE, taking care of the patients in the emergency department. So this is not even half of what we have to have on. We also have to have more stuff that protects our N95. This is just like the basic stuff. So it
Wow.
takes like 30 minutes at least to get in there.
Okay. That's amazing. And so, just so you all know that are watching today, my frontline angel that's coming on today works in a very busy emergency room department and deals with a lot of trauma, both COVID related and non COVID related cases. And I know, in speaking to you prior to this, you were saying that there's interesting situations and dynamics taking place with people that are coming in and not being able to have their family members come in. Elaborate on that for me, if you would.
Yeah, but before we would, in the emergency department, we're actually pretty lax compared to the rest of we're just kind of unique in our way. We had
Mhm.
visiting time, anytime, 24 hours, you could have your family there. Now, um, well, it started off with just like having one family member there. We would put a mask on them. And then even to, because we get all the pregnancies and deliveries and take them
Right,
upstairs. So before, as long as they, checked no on the questionnaire, they were able to, the husbands were able to go up. And
right.
now they're not even, no one's allowed to go. So not only are the pregnant mothers going up and being by themselves and delivering this baby, which should be like the most joyful time of their life, they're by themselves. Um, just even surgeries, you can't have any family members, even if, we end up having to intubate these patients, no families can go back. It's just, it's a big difference.
And is that even with children as well? Because I can imagine, I kind of understand what they're saying with adults, because adults we can fend for ourselves. We're used to it mentally. But what about if a child comes in to the ER and has to have a surgical procedure? How does that happen? Is the parent allowed to go
We do
back?
allow one parent because they're underage. They have to have a parent there. But the bad thing about it, it has to be one parent. Um,
So they have to choose.
yeah, you have to choose. It's usually the mother, but we try, because we're really just trying to protect everyone else. You go in there, you're being exposed to
Hmm.
stuff that we just don't want you to be. So we don't
Right.
let any other children in at all unless they're being seen by the physician. Um,
Okay.
and one parent. And if, like, we had a trauma one time and that patient was going up to surgery, so we let dad go back, real quick, kisses, and we had to send him because he wasn't going to be able to see this patient at all.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, this is pretty, I mean, because things like that, we aren't thinking about at that level, especially if we're
No.
on the outside and we're safe with our families. So to know what's happening behind closed doors in the hospital setting is interesting for you to reveal some of those things to us. Uh, what about how you're coping and your colleagues are coping, both spiritually and mentally? How is that happening with these dynamics that are in play right now?
Well, it's really hard actually being, because being a parent, I mean, you would have to, I don't know what you'd have to do to keep me away from my child, so I get it on their end. And it's really sad. It breaks our heart that these people are there, they're by themselves going to surgeries, or they're being intubated and possibly dying, and they can't have their loved one. And I couldn't even imagine being on that other end, not knowing what's going on.
Hmm.
It's really, really hard. The nurses take it really hard, that they're by themselves, and we try to give them as much attention as we can, but and try to keep the family informed. But
Right.
yeah.
That's very that's something else that we'll add to our prayer list, which I know every day. Speaking of prayer, our church, Quest Church, we actually have a daily prayer line, and that's Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. And the reason that we have this prayer line is specifically during this coronavirus time. And we've been praying every day for frontline workers, essential workers, non-essential workers, families, you name it. So people around the world are praying for you and for people like you. So I just want you to know that as well.
Well, we
Yeah.
receive it because we need it.
Good. I know. And this is an interesting time to even be talking about this, because I'm trying to be very mindful that you're a mother yourself, you're a wife yourself. And so how is this impacting your personal family?
Well, you think about it when you come home, it takes a half an hour to get to work. Well, it takes another half an hour at work to get out of work, and then another half an hour at home before you could even get in the house. So,
What do you mean by that? Like a
well,
half hour and half hour and half hour? Break that down for us in this, like a step-by-step kind of process.
okay. Well, it's just an approximate, but you go in there, you get we change into gowns that are provided for us, put all our PPE, and we wear that for the whole day. And at the
Hmm.
end of the shift, we get out of those scrubs that are issued to us and everything else we have, and then we put our clothes that we have from home, our scrubs from home.
Mhm.
So then, of course, you wash your hands and do all that. Take off all your things, and then I think, like I talked to you earlier, I have a COVID car, so I have a car that specifically is just for work, and I have all my, bleach and gels and all that for my hands, and just to try to keep as clean as possible. So then I get home and I remove everything. I also have COVID glasses and all my stuff from work I keep in this car. I have my
Wow.
Lysol and I spray everything down. I wipe everything down, the bottom of my shoes with the bleach that I have,
Hmm.
and then I get into my garage and then I take all my clothes off. And then I have a robe in there that I put on. And then again, more bleach things to make sure that I'm not, you know, coming inside with anything. And then the Lysol and then wiping down all the handles just to get inside,
Wow.
and yeah, so it's a process. I have a son, so he's not allowed in my room anymore. Just because, I go straight to my room to shower before talk to anybody. And
Mhm.
even though you wipe it down, that's probably the area that's the dirtiest, So I just have him, stay in the other living areas. So it's kind of stressful because they want to run and give you some love and hugs, and
Of
you're
course.
like, oh nope, mommy has to go to the shower. Step back. I'll give you some love. So it's really hard because they're so excited to see you after being gone so long, and now from them being at home, yeah, it's difficult for them.
Wow. Nobody, I literally have heard, I've seen CNN, I've seen MSNBC, I've seen all kinds of reports, but until we get the opportunity to hear it from you like this, breaking it down in a step-by-step fashion, I could never visualize what's happening from someone that's working on the front line until you just broke it down like that. So I am extremely grateful to hear the details associated with it, and the fact that you have to kind of push your own, say, hey, at an arm's length until you're completely comfortable to go and embrace your child is extra steps that's taken that people could never imagine, because we all get to embrace our children at home all the time, but in your case that's not the case. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Let me share a couple of things that people are saying in the studio audience so you'll know. Javon Jackson said, thanks for your bravery and your courage. And so he put that comment up. Thank you, Javon, for being in our studio audience today. And that's my brother. Okay. Trey Perry says, definitely sending prayers to my frontline former colleagues. 12 years in the emergency department trauma unit. So I know what it feels like to be possibly exposed. It was scary prior to COVID-19. She says she couldn't even imagine what her former team is going through now. Anything that I put up there, you're more than welcome to speak to, but since you're currently our frontline angel that we're talking to today. So any of the comments, feel free to chime in, frontline angel, if you like. We have here another comment saying that, thank you, praying for you, for your safety, and lots of love and hugs coming your way. And that's from a pastor's wife, Miss Justine Hilliard.
Okay, I just want
Oh,
to say one thing about all the, thank yous and stuff. And, another reason why I kind of dressed in my uniform is also because, God gave me this gift. So he gave me a gift. I can't go like a pastor and speak to thousands of people and, give them the word, but I can go and I can take care of his people. So I just want to give him all the grace, and the glory. I don't want to, I am grateful and I do this because of him. So I want him to receive all the glory, but I do appreciate all the thanks but I wouldn't do anything else.
Wow. And that's why your reward will come in heaven. And okay, I'm trying to make sure I don't be too emotional on this show. So as the actual host, they'd be like, Kim, get together and ask the questions. I'm grateful for the spirit that God put inside of you, and that you're being a pastor in your own right to the people that are in that hospital without loved ones and without family members. You can just give them the love of Christ through you. So I'm so grateful that he would give not only us as a show a Frontline Angel, but he would also give people that are there without family and loved ones an angel like yourself. So thank you. And I know this reward here is not as minuscule compared to what will come in heaven. So I'm grateful for that. So, wow. How long are your shifts is a question that Katrina Womack is asking. Do you want to talk about that? How long are shifts being one of the frontline workers in the hospital?
Well, with all it's usually 12 hours. It just depends. Sometimes in the morning it's not as busy, but it gets busier towards the end. So before we had call-offs, but even more now we have call-offs. So sometimes we're pretty short. So it just depends on who called off, how many are in the next nighttime shift. Sometimes we'll stay over a couple hours. Sometimes we won't, but on a regular day, it's 12 hours. Plus, you need to get there 30 minutes early to prepare for your shift, because night shift's ready to go home, so we're learning though, because we used to go there at the time of shift change, and then it takes 30 minutes to get in there. So that kind of, when you want to go home, you just want to go home. So we try to go there early. So probably I would say 13 hours by the time. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. Now, also right now we've been told through all kinds of communication that COVID-19 hasn't even really hit its peak. And so something I'd like for us to talk to a little bit.
That's what we were told, that it's barely starting to climb up. We haven't even touched the peak. So I'm actually proud of our hospital because, and I'm praying it doesn't come. I'm praying that the peak is chopped and, off and it never comes. But I am proud of our hospital because they are preparing for it. And we're opening floors that we didn't use, and all the clinics that were used just for the regular daily stuff. None of those people are there. So they're retraining those nurses that are in there, getting them ready for these patients if we do receive this sudden surge of patients. We have tents outside. So I'm excited that they're ready, because then it makes you feel less afraid, because you think about all this stuff oh my gosh, well, where are we going to put these patients? What's going to happen if 3 people come in and need to be intubated? And if we're not getting our patients upstairs, we're stuck with them in the ER, and that requires a 1-to-1 on these patients when we could be taking care of others. So if we can get our patients up, which we are getting up pretty quick, within, I would say, 30 minutes to an hour, they're up. So it takes the strain from the ER, which is really good. So with all this preparation, and hopefully we don't have to use it, but it's ready.
That's really good. I'm proud to hear that. Very proud to hear that. Because all of the things that we get to hear on the media, sometimes, we don't get to hear that behind the scenes piece. So I'm grateful to hear, to hear your angle of things. Someone else, Sean Hall, joined the studio audience. Thank you, Sean, for being on. She said, are you getting hazard pay by chance? This is a question regarding
pay. We don't.
No.
We talked about it, and we've even before COVID, we deal with a lot of patients, that we are in, put ourselves at risk all the time, especially with psychological issues, gunshot wounds, just, people that come in looking for them. We don't.
Okay. That's simple enough, right? So another person said, which is Katrina Womack, who's in my studio audience as well today. How are you finding the effects? How is this affecting you emotionally and spiritually? And you, and maybe even some of your colleagues, how is this whole working in the front lines affecting you and your colleagues during this time?
Well, with me just hearing about in China, Italy, and all this stuff, and even my coworkers, we're worried about, when is it going to come? Hoping we can take care of all these patients. We want to be prepared. Um, I would say some of them are a little, well, nervous than I am. I think I'm pretty calm, which I thank God for. And I pray all the time, because you hear all this stuff, I'm even on Facebook and all that. These nurses are crying that, they're having to choose who they're going to do this and do that. And, when you think about that stuff, that it could be you, and, take an event from, someone else who you don't think is going to live for someone you think is going to live. I mean, to have to make those choices. So if you think about like all these things, I mean, you can get overwhelmed. So, and about food, I mean, gosh, toilet paper, you can't even find toilet paper. But I just pray to God. I mean, I feel so calm, and I see some people getting, scared and all this stuff, and I pray to him, and I ask him, you just let me know what I should feel, because I feel him with me. So I just feel like everything's going to be okay. And so I try to project that out with the people that I'm around, so that way we can all be calm together, because nothing's going to change if you're going to be afraid, or scared, or you just do your best. You prepare, you pray, and you just, he'll provide.
Wow. That's a very calming spirit and a great answer for those that are maybe traumatized themselves in dealing with this. So one of my guests said that that's sad pertaining to the non-hazard pay. So just want to make sure you knew that was her response to you not getting the hazard pay. And then, Tiandre Moore, he said, go ahead first. That he's talking to me, actually. I'm his pastor's wife, so they call me first lady. I'm Michelle Obama, Frontline Angel. I'm actually first lady of the church, so that's what he's referring to. So thank you for joining today, Tiandre. I appreciate it. And let's see. Someone else said, Sean Hall said, what are your thoughts about places like Florida opening up? Like, some places are officially starting to open up, and they're going to prepare to start opening up really soon as a community again, or as a city or state or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings, because even if they lift it here, I'm not going to allow my family to go anywhere. I don't think we have a good enough handle on how we're going to treat these patients. We have ideas and thank God we're not the first ones, China, Italy, and now New York. So we're getting feedback from them. So thank God we're able to, they went through it, and we're able to use their ideas and what works better. But we still don't have a handle on exactly how to treat these patients. And I sure don't want my families being the guinea pigs to going out there and seeing if this is going to work. I'd rather keep them safe, and at least until we can find out how we treat this, like with the flu, we know how to treat it. We know what we have to do. This is something different. You can be young, old. It doesn't matter what color you are. Yeah, I wouldn't go out. I would stay at home until we can figure things out.
That's some good, wise counsel, wise advice from someone right from the front line telling us this. And, it's just really good advice. Let me go on to another comment from another audience member. Tiandre says, beautiful. Thank you so much for your service, and please stay safe. And that was his feedback. Thank you, Tiandre. Now, keep in mind, too, guys that are watching, I'd like to include my studio audience in my show, because technically they're not sitting in front of me in the studio audience, Frontline Angel, but they're my online studio audience. So I'm making sure their comments get to you. But then also, everyone that's on, take a moment and share this broadcast. Share it with your friends, family, coworkers, enemies. It doesn't even matter. Everyone needs to be aware of this information, because it's some great information that we're learning from a frontline worker. We're calling her Frontline Angel today. Make sure that you all subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show and turn on your notifications. So as I get guests like this, you'll already be getting a notification about it. But please share it with everyone that you know. Let's go on to some more comments. Trey Perry. Okay, I don't have my glasses, Lord. Let's see. Awesome feedback. I love my nurses. They go so hard in the emergency room department, and we appreciate you so much. Kim, please send a prayer up for my best friend and a nurse of years, house nurse, nursing supervisor here in Charlotte, as well as home health nurses. So she is taking risk all around, but I know that God has her covered. And so let me say a prayer right now for her, Trey. Lord, I'm asking you to bless Trey's best friend. Lord, that you keep her protected, keep her safe from any hurt, harm, or danger. Lord, allow her to be able to do her job, but let nothing come to her that isn't something that you've ever allowed. Lord, rebuke the enemy that would try to come and cause any harm or disarray in her life. And I'm praying for complete coverage. Put your loving arms around her and protect her. And I'm believing that this is the case because, Lord, you said we can ask anything in your name, and it can be so. So we're asking, we're declaring and decreeing that Trey's best friend is safe. And thank you for her selfless acts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, let's see. Katrina Womack says, what are the primary age groups that you're seeing? Because I know you and I had spoken, Frontline Angel, and I was asking you, are there primarily elderly patients that you're seeing, or what is the age range? So address that, please.
So it's different because we have two areas. We have an area outside that we see non-critical patients, and we do our testing in there. So we have a lot of positives, COVIDs, but they get to go home. They go home and they self-quarantine, and then they return if their symptoms get worse. But the ones that we are seeing that are needing to be intubated right now, I don't know if it's just because the area we are in, but they are the elderly. We did have one that was around my age, but mind you, we don't know if they actually have the COVID. We just end up suspect. So unless we go through, the whole process and find out, we're not sure which ones exactly have them. We just have an idea like, yeah, we think this one has it. So we did have one in my age, in the 40s, but primarily it is probably about maybe 70s.
Okay, so on average it's about 70s, but you do have some that's 40s, 60s to that range as well. Okay. Yes. Now, what about people that are out in the public? You might be able to speak to this because I see full-fledged families out in grocery stores. I'm like, does everybody have to go to the grocery store? Maybe just like one or two. Why the whole kit and caboodle have to come in the grocery store? So talk to that. What are your thoughts on that as a frontline worker?
First of all, I do think about it, and I try not to judge. I don't know anybody's situation, but I do see, children without masks, babies, and two parents or, three people with them. I feel that it'd be safer for the child that if they even stood in the car, maybe they had to go. But I'm thinking my fear is a lot of people might think it's an elderly disease. And in my opinion, I don't think it is. I think anybody can get it. And not even just that. I mean, it doesn't mean they can get it and have no symptoms or be okay and think it's like a little cold, but they can give it to people. So they go out there and, maybe they will be okay. And then they come home and there's grandma and grandpa or, the new baby or something, they're not as strong as they can be, so you're potentially not just bringing it home to your family and to your loved ones, you can get sick yourself. My poor mom and kid my son has not been out, I would say, for like a month. I mean, they get to go outside, but they don't drive nowhere. When I go myself and I keep everybody at home. Yeah, I feel like family, if you can, it's safer just to go by yourself, designate one person to be going out there.
Right, right. And then, I agree with you. We don't know anyone's circumstances or situations. So, that it is what it is, and they have to do what they feel is the best interest of their family. I know I was at a CVS the other day, and I heard a gentleman. He was, I don't know what his name, maybe Vietnamese or something, and he was in trying to get masks, but they didn't have any masks for sale. And I had a box of masks in my car, so I just said, I couldn't even really communicate with him, but I went to my car and I held it up and just waved. And he was like, oh, he was so grateful because he was just trying to figure out how to protect himself, but they didn't sell it, so he couldn't get it. So I gave him a few for him and his family. And I had on gloves, I had on a mask. So even if times where you may have something you can share with other people in this time, that would be a blessing too, you know?
Yeah,
Because he was so
definitely.
grateful. He put it on like immediately before he even got in the car, handed the other ones out. And I can't be the necessarily like the savior going up with the mass savior, but I'm able to give what I can give.
Well, you were
And
his
so
savior for that day.
yeah, God's representative. So
Yeah.
now, what advice would you give people pertaining to taking this whole COVID-19 thing seriously? Because everybody's not taking it seriously.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people. And like I said previously, it's because of the age. A lot of I would say, I mean, I'm not, and they're not all like that, but a lot of the younger ones, they feel, oh, this is the old people's, disease, and I'm not gonna get sick, but it is real. It is out there. I've dealt with it, and it's also hard too because some media hypes it up and makes it way worse than it really is. So you don't know who to believe. Is it really like this? Is it not? But it is real. COVID is real, and you know, um, you can get it. It doesn't matter what age you are, and
Right.
even if you get it, you can still transmit it, even if you don't die from it. So I personally don't want to be responsible for getting anybody else sick just
Yeah,
because I have
me.
this invincible feeling. Um, Yeah, I just want the younger ones to know, yeah, you may not die from this, but you could possibly infect someone else who can. So just, care about other people and try not to go out as much if you can and just stay home.
Good advice. Good advice. Okay, comment from studio audience participant, which happens to be my mommy, and her name is Ellis Bradley, and she says, "Good morning, ladies. Thank you both for your service. I appreciate you both." Well, mommy, I appreciate you more. And thank you for being a part of today's studio audience. Okay, let's see. Favorite First says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Favorite First. Glad to have you as a part of the Kim Jacobs Show today. If you all have any other questions or anything, go ahead and type them in because we're going to be bringing this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show to a close soon. And I want to make sure that I don't not give you the opportunity to ask a question while we have Frontline Angel. That might be a name you can go with, hey, while we have Frontline Angel on. And what if people, this is really interesting, Frontline Angel, what if you become like the mass, no, this is me going, I have 5 kids, right? And most of them are Marvel and DC fanatics and stuff like that. What if there was an actual character called Frontline Angel doing COVID-19? And your picture was the COVID-19 Frontline Angel superhero. Could I be your agent then?
You're like, I'm the one who found you.
You're like, yeah, Kim Jacobs discovered Frontline Angel, and okay, there's Wonder Woman, and then there's whoever else, all kind of people, Thor and blah 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 blah, but none of them compared to Frontline Angel. And I'm saying it in a in a funny kind of way,
Right.
But guess what? It seriously, forget some Spider-Man and all of this other stuff. When you have people like you working on the front lines, DC and Marvel, and I know Stan Lee's passed, but any of those people representing those kind of characters should be looking into stories like this, Frontline Angel. Frontline Angel.
I just have a thought right now. It has nothing to do with this, frontline thing, but I just want to speak to the people out there who had family and lost them to the COVID.
Mhm.
And you weren't able to be there with them. Know that your nurse was there. They were there holding their hands and giving them the attention and praying for them. They weren't alone, because that's a horrible feeling to have to leave your family that you love there. Just so know in your heart that they were prayed for, they were loved, and they weren't alone. That's what I just want you to know
I'm
that.
glad to hear that. I'm so grateful to hear that, because you cannot imagine how much torture a person would be experiencing. People that are already there holding the hands of their loved ones when they're passing away or taking their last breath, or surrounding their bed with the loving family and stuff, trying to sing a song, their favorite song, or read their favorite scripture, whatever. To know that you can't be there, and you know that your spouse or your child or your loved one has COVID-19 and they are on a ventilator and you can't get in that room, that would be something that would make a person go probably stir crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
so for you to comfort people by saying that is so extraordinary. Thank you for doing that. Okay, what is something that the frontline workers need? And I say frontline because you guys are the first responders. You're the ones that's running out to the ambulance. You're the ones that's taking the patients in and saying, okay, excuse us, we got to kind of part ways now so we can really focus on this patient. What do you all need from the community?
Well, in the beginning, it was kind of hard because we didn't have, well, we were thinking about that surge we're going to get. We didn't have the PPE available like we have. That's the protective gear that we have. There wasn't enough. So at the beginning, it was really kind of rocky because we were nervous. Like, how are we supposed to take care of these patients if we can't even take care of ourselves? So nurses were getting upset. Doctors were getting upset. Tension was high. At the beginning of this, we had one area where we took our patients with the same symptoms and we tried to isolate them from we would say the clean area. I just prayed. I just prayed that, hey, God, please give us all the supplies that we need. And little by little, our community just came in for us. Home Depot, they sent us boxes and boxes of masks. And it was just, it takes that weight off our shoulders because we want to be there. We want to take care of these patients, but we don't want to get sick and we don't want to bring that sickness home to our family. So all this stuff showed up. We got more gowns, more, these masks that are hard to find in boxes. And it's still not enough, but we continue to get things and we just prepare for this. So I'm happy. And then, with a lot of the restaurants being closed down, they're coming to us and giving us food. And, our community really stepped it up and we appreciate even like other clinics that are now closed, any extra protective gear they had, they would give to us. So,
Wow.
yeah.
This is just amazing. I'm actually just putting some thank yous across the screen. So thank you, restaurants, for giving food to frontline workers. Thank you so much. We didn't name specific restaurants, but just any restaurants, thank you. And thank you, Home Depot and all other office supply places that are giving masks and any kind of uniform gear to hospitals around the country. There are a few more questions, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they get the opportunity to ask them. Trey Perry said, other than washing your hands, Frontline Angel, with doing Lysol and disinfecting things, how else can the elderly population boost their immune system? Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's all, what I'm using myself is, vitamin C, your daily, daily multivitamin.
Yeah.
But most of it is like vitamin C. There has been some research too that like zinc. So we got some of that, and keeping yourself healthy. Because even though you're here in the home, you can still put a mask on and take a little walk. Make sure that you're just not stuck in home. You still be active, because you just sitting there is not healthy either. So if they are able to walk around, walk around, even, just right outside, right there. Me and my son went out in the grass and we had a little picnic, played with his toys. Make sure they get a lot of, vitamin D. And
Yes.
it's depressing just to be in here in the house. So,
Yes, it is.
make sure you go outside, have yourself a little barbecue with your little family right there in the garage and have it open and, just love on each other. That
Yes.
on
Yes.
top of, the vitamins and stuff should, keep you healthy.
Excellent answer. And then Favorite First says, are the doctors and nurses contracting the virus with the proper protective gear on? Do you still see situations where they're still getting the virus in the hospitals, even though they're properly covered?
I can only speak for my hospital. I haven't heard of anybody that has gotten COVID.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. So I think that we've asked as much as we can ask in a short time frame. And I just want to make sure I look through and see any other things that I really thought, was important. Anything else that you think that maybe we didn't touch on that you say, God, I really don't want to leave without saying this, and it's kind of burning in my spirit, but she didn't ask me. So this is an open-ended opportunity, Frontline Angel, for you to share anything that's in your spirit that you want to share with people. Feel free.
There is one thing I wanted to share is when you guys do go out and you have these masks and gloves, and be careful because, even me right here, I probably touched my face, I don't know how many times, even though it's clean, but you may think you're being protective because you have this mask on and these gloves, but you see people out there all the time. They grab their phones, your credit card, be ready. If you're going to use your credit card, have that credit card in your pocket, try to leave your purse somewhere else. I bought a protective cover for my phone so you could just wash it in soap and water. So if you do have to use it, you could wear these so you can just click on and off, so that way you don't have to touch your phone. You don't, make sure you don't call anybody. And with the gloves, you see a lot of people wearing gloves, and all I have to say is make sure you wash your hands. Washing your hands is the best thing you can do. You'd be amazed, even with the gloves on. You touch something on the wall, you're contaminated. You scratch your waist, you're contaminated. You're constantly touching yourself with your hands. And when you have those gloves on, you have the false security that you're going to be okay. But you should see what people do with these gloves and what they touch.
Right.
And then they take it to their car. So, if you're going to wear gloves, make sure you're not touching anything. Have your stuff ready in your pocket. If it's going to be your card, you don't need to have anything else. Tell your family, don't call me. I don't want to be touching my phone, at least while you're in there.
Right.
And before you get in the car, dispose of those gloves in the trash, please, in the trash can, before you get in your car. And
that's
then
important. That's important. I have a couple of pair of gloves in my car, and that's important. I need to do that. So before we get in, okay, let me go back for a second because I don't think I've done this right. Okay. I put the gloves on, which I constantly wear a pair of plastic gloves. And then I go out, I make sure I take all of my bags and I bring them into the house. Then I take the gloves, I throw the bags away, but I sometimes will take the gloves and put them back in the car. That still is filled with germs.
Yeah.
So they can go in the trash before I would put them back in my exposure.
If you want to decrease the exposure all around, I have the gel stuff. I forget what it's called, but the gel for the bacteria.
Sanitizer.
The sanitizer. There you go. Yeah. So
it's only because we're harassing you with like a child question. Like, this is your entire lot in life for you to answer this many questions on a show. So you are excused, Frontline Angel.
So washing your hands, huh?
I said, I hope you're comfortable. Because my goal
no,
is
I am. The sanitizer and wash your hands, the best thing. It'll protect you more than the gloves, because I feel like the gloves make you feel like you're protected and you're not. So if you go out there and you go shopping, you do all this, everything you touch possibly has COVID on there. You get a box of cereal, who knows who touched that before you did. So, and that's okay. Touch it, grab it, put it in your, put it away or whatever. And if you still choose to have the gloves, when you walk out of wherever you're shopping, you throw those in the trash. And then I don't wear the gloves, but I have my hand sanitizer. You do your sanitizer, you go in the car, you go home. And it depends on how far you go. I just get a little bowl of water and a little bit of bleach, and I just kind of do a little quick wipe down of everything I grabbed, and put it away. And then I go back to my car and I have little wipes, Lysol wipes, and I just do my handles, my wheels,
Okay.
Anything
That's
you
some
think
good
you touch.
advice.
Yeah.
Well, I know my son, when he gets a package, because we've been using Amazon heavily right now.
Mhm.
So when he gets a package, because three of my children have cystic fibrosis.
Oh,
So they have
yeah. Oh,
disease.
wow. Yeah.
So he takes like an envelope. What is this letter opener thing that he had?
Mhm.
And he'll poke it and pick it up and take it. And then he hand sanitizes the wiper. He wipes, throws the packet away. And then even the plastic that the contents are in, he won't like touch anything that's coming into the house because he doesn't want to have a chance of getting it. Not like he's scared. He just wants to be,
No, for real. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not afraid, but I'm gonna be cautious. Being afraid and being cautious are two different things.
Big
Sometimes
time.
I open it up and I throw it in the trash from outside, and then I bring in, the plastic and all right, I totally open it and then I just clean it off and then wash my hands, because you could do that too.
Right. But this is all really good advice, and so many people are chiming in. I'll just share another comment. Rain Eve says, yes, I do that with wipes and sanitizer spray in the car. Great job, Rain. And if you want to speak to that as well, any comment?
Well, yeah, that's another thing. It just made me remember, because I keep saying God will provide. Finding this Lysol and this, the wipes was the hardest thing. And, when you're at home, I did a little spring cleaning, and guess what I found? 3 bottles of Lysol. And then, the other day I went to Costco, and I find these disinfectant wipes, the Clorox wipes, and people are like, how did you do that? I'm like, I didn't do that. God did it, because people are selling those things for like $25 to $50 for just one little container. And I went to Sam's or Costco, and I paid $15, and they gave me like 4 or 6 of them,
Well, I will tell you one story. This lady at the grocery store, and it's probably bad that I did this, but I was like, how can you police the hand sanitizer? They have put like a huge case of hand sanitizer, and she pulled it behind the register to prevent people from getting it. Actually, I saw the manager end up kind of chastising her and said, just put it out for the public. Stop doing that. But when I went up to get them, my son and I were in line. I actually brought my son for something else. So he was in line about 3 or 4 people ahead of me. But then I just walked up to where he was. And she was like, well, he had saw the hand sanitizer. So he got hand sanitizer. And then I got one. And she was like, well, you guys can't get all of that because you guys are together. But we really weren't together. Technically, he was already coming for what he came for. And he has his own money. And I'm coming. The lady was giving us a fit, right? So I said, well, I have 3 children with lung disease. She said, well, I had a stroke. I was like, oh, so she was giving me the business, basically. Yeah. I said, well, I'm definitely not going to debate with a frontline worker, in my opinion, because she's an essential worker. And I said, yes, right, ma'am. And I piped down and just left with what she allowed us to get. But I did come back to the store, and I drove back with 2 of my other sons, and I had them go in individually, because you can't stop people from trying to get some hand sanitizer, even if that's just how you're going to police it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, on her defense, there are people out there, like, you need it, like, you for sure you need it, because I mean, your children, but there's people out there that will grab that and then try to sell things for $40 to people like you. So right, she doesn't know your life, and she should have handled it a way different. There's a way to handle things, And
I just left her alone. But
yeah, and 2 of them is not that bad. It's not like you try to grab 6. I can't, but I know how she feels, because that's how I am about the mask, because we hand out the masks and you feel stingy. People are like, oh, I need a mask. It's like, I just gave you one, Do you
have to keep the same mask? Let me ask that. Do you have to keep the same mask and uniform for your whole shift, or do you change it multiple times throughout the shift, or how does that work?
So we usually have an N95 and then we place one of these on the outside of it to keep it cleaner. But
Okay.
no, yeah, you keep that. You have to keep that mask.
So how are people cleaning the like I had an N95 and I washed it and it seemed like it broke it down so much. I was like, whoa, it's no good anymore. But how are people cleaning their N95 masks?
To be honest with you, they're supposed to only be a one-time use. You're
Right.
not supposed to reuse them, but with such the shortage, we try to prolong the use by putting these on the outside to prevent them from getting soiled. And honestly, when we're done with them, they go in a paper bag. And if they're still good, we use them again.
Wow, that's disheartening. Actually, that's scary. But okay, let's see what another comment said. What about your mail? Do you recommend going through the same process? Diane Long said, do you go through the same process that you were describing when dealing with mail?
You mean like the wiping down?
Wiping it down and stuff, or just like,
yeah, I try not to waste my wipes, and I just put a little, I fill up a bowl or something, and I just put the Clorox, and use a wash rag. I just do a quick little wipe, but most of it you just throw in the trash anyways. So I wipe it down, and you just could be right over the trash can, and just throw it all in the trash can while you're looking through it, and then some stuff, of course, has to go to the shredder, but yeah, that's what we do. We just use a little bit of a wash rag with some water and a little bit of bleach.
Okay. Well, I think that you've answered more questions than I could have ever imagined on today's show. And I think that everybody has benefited greatly from being a part of the studio audience. Let me see. One last question says, Frontline Angel here. She said, Frontline Angel, favorite first. Frontline Angel will pray. Will you pray for the churches and the nation and our health?
Every day. We need it.
Every day. Thank you for that, favorite first. Yes, I know that. Let me put the prayer line up too for our church. And every day, Monday through Friday, we have this prayer line. It's on Quest Church. Anybody around the country can call in. Noonday prayer is 978-990-5000. Access code is 322083#. Again, that's 978-990-5000, and access code is 322083#. So make sure you know that you are welcome to join the Noonday Prayer Line Monday through Friday. And a lot of people have no makeup either. Who said, what do you mean no makeup either? I'm not sure what that comment means, favor first, but no makeup. No makeup either.
Maybe
okay, I'm not. Be a little more specific on that comment and tell me what you mean. And then Diane Long says, okay, thanks for the feedback. She appreciates everything that you've shared. And I think that I would like to take a moment and present to you flowers.
Thank you. They're beautiful.
These are virtual flowers being presented to my Frontline Angel, because if you were in my studio audience right now, I would definitely give you your flowers while you're living. And so I thought this would be a way to give you virtual flowers today and tell you I appreciate you.
Well, they are beautiful virtual flowers, and I appreciate them.
All right. Thank you so much for being on today, Frontline Angel. I don't think I slipped and said anything that I wasn't, because I told you if I slipped and said something, we'll take the whole broadcast down. So I feel very good with the outcome of our interview today. Do you feel good?
I do. I feel good. And I hope I helped a lot of people. And just remember, pray and do what you have to do to keep safe, but you don't need to be afraid. Feel God's presence and just listen to him and let him guide you. Yes.
Well, God has not given us the spirit of fear, everyone. So make sure we know that we don't have to walk around afraid, because even if by chance we were to not be able to survive on this earth, as far as I'm concerned, where I know my ultimate home and my ultimate resting place is, I'm still going to be okay, because I'm going to be in my eternal resting place. So I'm not fearful of anything that comes my way on this earth. I just believe wholeheartedly that God has prepared a place for me that one day I can go and reunite with my loved ones. And I believe that thing with everything within me. I am convinced that he is not a man that he should lie. So if he said he's done it, then it is done. And so I know I'm going to reunite with my grandmother and with my great grandmother and with my son Gabriel and lots of other loved ones that's gone on before me. So I don't have the spirit of fear of I'm petrified of the virus. I'm not petrified of anything because God is the author and the finisher of my faith.
He
And he's
is.
the finisher of yours as well. So
Mhm.
Frontline Angel, oh, here, somebody said, oh, I get it. Thank you, Favorite First. She said, what about having no makeup under the N95 mask? That's what she wanted to know. She was saying, is it appropriate to have makeup on under that mask?
Oh, well, I wear makeup. I don't know how much I have left by the end of the day, but there's, some of the nurses are like, oh no, I'm not going to be wasting no more, makeup because it's just covered up anyways. But yeah, no, some of them just cover it, the mask and they don't have to put it on. But some of us still wear
it. Well, we can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can wear it, but I don't see it. Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, being my guest. Frontline Angel, you are amazing. I think you should be on CNN and on Oprah and on everywhere, but I appreciate the exclusive interview right now on the Kim Jacobs Show. It has made my heart glad. It's made the audience's heart glad, and we thank God for you and for all of the frontline workers, whether you're interviewed right now or not, for everyone that's sacrificing. We appreciate you and we love you and we thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Any last comments?
No, just keep safe. Keep safe and love on your family.
Thank you, Frontline Angel. I better disconnect so I don't make a mistake and say your name or keep trying to say Frontline Angel. Frontline Angel. Okay. God bless you. Thank you for being on today's show. The Kim Jacobs Show, guys, I encourage you to please tune in as much as I actually put these shows out. You can go right to YouTube and turn on your notifications and subscribe so you won't miss any shows that come out. Next week, I have a full lineup of some great guests for you, people that are ranging from dealing with event planning to real estate advice that's going to be talked about during COVID-19. I have someone that's going to be talking about foster care. On next Thursday, we are going to be officially doing a virtual camp where you're going to have balloons of any sort being made for you right here virtually on the Kim Jacobs Show. So a great lineup for next week, and then also self-care tips. So make sure you tune in every day next week, Monday through Friday on the Kim Jacobs Show, and tell your friends to tune in as well. Let's see. Oh, okay. Somebody said, ladies, have a blessed day. Much love. That's from Mother Wandra Audrey.
Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you all. Thank you for watching the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you, Frontline Angel, for being my guest today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Love your spirit. I love your spirit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. God bless you all. And I'm going to disconnect now. God bless you all.